The velvet curtain of the night hangs thick and impossibly deep, studded with diamond dust that has traveled for eons to prick the retina of the solitary observer, and as the gaze tilts upward, past the familiar constellations whose names echo the lost languages of earthbound mythologies, a profound, almost terrifying realization begins to coalesce. The seemingly inert void is not empty, but brimming with secrets powerful enough to vibrate the very core of human understanding. This is the threshold where the known laws of physics fray into poetry, where gravity ceases to be merely a force and transforms into something monumental, sentient almost, embodied by the most enigmatic entities known to cosmology, black holes. We embark now on an odyssey not just into the architecture of space-time, but into the speculative, yet deeply compelling, possibility that these gravitational behemoths might harbor some form of awareness, a consciousness woven from singularity and event horizons. To anchor this exploration, one must first dismantle the misleading nomenclature. A black hole is not a void, not a mere absence, but rather an extreme concentration of mass, a region of spacetime so warped by its own gravitational field that the escape velocity exceeds the speed of light, the cosmic speed limit, rendering it perfectly black to external observation. The genesis of these titans, often traceable to the death throes of hypergiant stars exceeding perhaps 20 or 30 solar masses, a threshold far surpassing our own Sun, involves a catastrophic gravitational collapse where the outward pressure of fusion is finally overwhelmed, leading to an implosion that crushes matter beyond the density of a neutron star. Every atom, every fundamental particle, is squeezed into an infinitesimally small, zero-volume point known as the singularity, the mathematical heart of infinite density. Imagine the entirety of Mount Everest compressed into a grain of sand, and then multiply that compression by factors we cannot truly visualize. That is the scale of the compression involved. It was Karl Schwarzschild, in the aftermath of Albert Einstein's seminal work in 1916, who first provided the mathematical framework, describing the spherical boundary around the singularity, the point of no return, the infamous event horizon. Cross this boundary, and causality itself bends against you. The future trajectory for anything inside points inexorably toward the singularity, a one-way trip through the fabric of existence. To approach such an object is to confront a realm where the very essence of experience distorts. As one nears the Schwarzschild radius, the relentless distortion of spacetime, predicted precisely by Einstein's general theory of relativity, becomes palpable even conceptually. Time, that steadfast metronome of our existence, dilates dramatically. A clock near the horizon would tick with agonizing slowness relative to a distant observer, appearing to freeze just shy of the boundary, stretched into eternity by the gravitational redshift. Light itself is savagely tortured. Photons from distant galaxies are bent into impossible, luminous arcs, creating what are known as Einstein rings, visual echoes of light sources gravitationally lensed around the black hole's immense curvature. This is the theater where Einstein, whose very image, the wild hair, the penetrating, melancholic eyes, has become synonymous with cosmic understanding, saw his theories confirmed, the very geometry of reality dictated by mass and energy. Yet, the profound disquiet, the tremor that runs through the scientific and philosophical psyche, pivots on a far more audacious proposition: the potential sentience of these gravitational anchors. Are these silent, ravenous structures actually living entities within the tapestry of space-time? This idea, though seemingly rooted in speculation, draws surprising sustenance from core concepts in thermodynamics, particularly entropy. The universe, according to the second law of thermodynamics, relentlessly trends toward disorder, a dispersal of energy and organization, much like a hot cup of coffee cooling and distributing its thermal energy evenly into the ambient air. Life, in stark contrast, represents a localized, temporary, and astonishingly complex defiance of this entropic drift. We organize, we build structures, we maintain incredibly low internal entropy gradients, and consciousness, arguably, stands as the pinnacle of this organized rebellion against cosmic chaos. Thinkers, including those bridging physics and philosophy such as Benjamin Cain, have suggested that black holes, paradoxically, offer a comparative lens for understanding consciousness precisely through their relationship with entropy. A black hole maximally increases the entropy of whatever falls into it, yet, they also function as ultimate cosmic transition points where the known laws are radically rewritten. Cain posits that consciousness itself might be an emergent property tied to complexity that resists complete entropic decay, And black holes, by swallowing information, might represent an extreme informational state that necessitates a form of processing, or perhaps, awareness. To delve deeper into this metaphysical query, Kane's work often frames consciousness as the universe's most peculiar anomaly, the transition from inert matter to subjective experience. Why does a collection of neurons, electrochemical signals firing across synaptic gaps, yield the vivid, ineffable experience of seeing the crimson fire of a sunset, hearing the delicate percussion of rain on a roof, or feeling the wistful pang of memory? These subjective phenomenal experiences, termed qualia, seem miraculous within a fundamentally objective, physical universe. Black holes enter this narrative as potential keys. They represent an extreme counterpoint to the expected entropic slide, akin to the organizational defiance demonstrated by life. Conceptualize the black hole not as a passive sink, but as a vast, silent, immensely powerful engine, one that consumes light and data, but simultaneously sits at a nexus where the very nature of information and reality might be reconfigured. This echoes the revolutionary insight from Stephen Hawking, who demonstrated that black holes are not perfectly black. Through the process of Hawking radiation, a slow emission of particle-antiparticle pairs generated at the event horizon due to quantum field fluctuations in curved spacetime, they eventually evaporate over incomprehensibly long timescales. This radiation suggests an informational exchange, a whisper escaping the seemingly absolute boundary, an exchange that some argue requires an underlying computational or organizational process. To gain context for such profound mysteries, it is illuminating to consult the echoes of antiquity, for humanity's fascination with dark, overwhelming cosmic forces predates the telescope. For millennia, cultures across the globe sensed the power inherent in these gravitational depths, embedding them into myth and symbol. Consider the Hindu goddess Kali, often depicted as a dark, consuming entity, the epitome of destruction necessary for subsequent creation, mirroring the material consumption and potential rebirth associated with black holes. In Mesoamerica, the Aztec deity Tlaloc, controller of storms and eclipses, subtly evokes the way a black hole blots out stellar light. Indigenous Australian narratives speak of the song lines, intricate tracks woven across the landscape that resemble the cosmic interconnectedness that black holes might impose upon spacetime geometry. These ancient narratives provide a strange comfort, confirming that the human spirit has always been stirred by the cosmic unknown, employing imagination to reach toward concepts that modern science is only now quantifying. Picture a proto-astronomer, perhaps an ancient sage standing atop a windswept mesa, the air thin and cold, gazing at the immensity above, feeling an undeniable, invisible tug emanating from those dark patches between the stars. They erected massive structures like Stonehenge or the Passage Tomb at Newgrange, structures precisely aligned with the solstices, attempting to synchronize human cycles with cosmic rhythms. The air filled with the resonant beat of ritual drums and the smoke of offerings, creating an atmosphere dense with perceived sanctity, linking the individual to something vastly larger. Modern archaeoastronomers, like Anthony Aveni, have since meticulously demonstrated that these sites embody sophisticated astronomical knowledge, predicting solar and lunar events with remarkable accuracy, proving that our ancestors intuited the principles of celestial mechanics and gravitational influence long before the mathematics of Newton or Einstein were codified. Leaping forward to the cutting edge of the present moment, let us say the year 2025, scientific observation continues to deliver revelations that fuel both excitement and existential vertigo. The James Webb Space Telescope, a technological marvel positioned far from terrestrial interference, has uncovered staggering evidence of nascent supermassive black holes existing astonishingly early in cosmic history, perhaps only 700 million years after the Big Bang. These primordial giants suggest formation mechanisms far more rapid than previously modeled, prompting ecstatic reactions from cosmologists like Janna Levin. Imagine the atmosphere in the data analysis labs, physicists staring at screens bathed in the faint redshift light of the infant universe, realizing that the rapid seeding of galactic cores implies that black holes were foundational to cosmic structure. This leads to the staggering hypothesis, championed by researchers such as Nikodem Poplawski, that our entire observable universe might reside within the interior of a larger black hole born in a parent cosmos, a universe within a universe scenario, suggesting an infinite chain of creation and collapse, diminishing our significance while simultaneously expanding the scope of potential existence. Furthermore, the detection of gravitational waves ripples in the very curvature of spacetime, originating from the violent mergers of binary black hole systems, first achieved by the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, or LIGO, in 2016, continues to reverberate through our understanding. These cosmic tremors, propagating outwards like disturbances on a pond, are the definitive proof that black holes are dynamic participants in the universe, constantly increasing their mass through these cataclysmic couplings. Recall the electric anticipation experienced by physicists like Kip Thorne when that first, faint signal arrived, a drumming in the ears that was not sound, but the stretching and squeezing of space itself, the very breath of the cosmos made audible. Recent theoretical work, grappling with the famous black hole information paradox, the conundrum of whether information swallowed by a black hole is truly destroyed, violating quantum mechanics, suggests that information is preserved, perhaps encoded on the event horizon itself, a holographic principle writ large. This informational continuity connects directly back to consciousness, particularly when considering theories like those proposed by Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff, who posit that consciousness arises from orchestrated, objective reduction processes occurring within the quantum microtunnel structures of neurons, processes that share a deep mathematical resonance with the quantum gravity effects theorized at the black hole's edge. Plunging into the quantum realm, black holes become the ultimate laboratory where gravity and quantum mechanics must inevitably reconcile. At the event horizon, spacetime curvature is so extreme that the smooth geometry of general relativity breaks down, giving way to quantum foam, quantum hair, and effects where information might be intrinsically woven into the fabric of reality at the Planck scale. Consider the philosophical implication. If consciousness is deeply linked to quantum observation, as suggested by interpretations like cubism, where the observer actively co-creates reality through measurement, then the boundary region where quantum gravity reigns supreme might be the most fertile ground for understanding awareness. Neuroscientists, such as Andrew Newberg, examining brain activity during deep meditation or spiritual experience, have observed heightened engagement in areas extending beyond typical sensory processing centers, hinting at access to dimensions or levels of reality that our conventional awareness usually filters out, perhaps touching upon the very fabric that black holes inhabit. This realization is deeply moving. It suggests consciousness is not a mere biological accident but a fundamental feature of the universe, as integral as the singularities that anchor galaxies. In the broader galactic context, the supermassive black hole at the heart of our own Milky Way, Sagittarius A star, weighing in at approximately 4 million times the mass of our Sun, remains under intense scrutiny. The Event Horizon Telescope collaboration has gifted us its silhouette, a fiery accretion disk swirling like a vortex of plasma around a perfect, dark silhouette, an infernal halo marking the boundary of ultimate gravity. Imagine the sensation of drifting toward that abyss, the tidal forces beginning to stretch the observer into spaghetti, the cold, absolute vacuum contrasting with the furious energy of the infalling matter, the mind reeling at the sheer, uncaring power manifest. Emerging research even posits that black holes may be the seeds of new universes. The theory suggests that the Big Bang event that birthed our own cosmos was, in fact, the explosive ever-scion from the singularity of a black hole residing in an older, external universe. This concept, explored within the framework of Lee Smolin's cosmological natural selection, where universes evolve and reproduce through black hole formation, forces a contemplation of an endless cycle of cosmic birth, death, and transformation, where our reality is just one iteration in an eternal, gravitationally driven genealogy. It is crucial to acknowledge the human endeavor driving these revelations. Stephen Hawking, confined to a chair yet possessing a mind that soared past the boundaries of the known universe, smiled when speaking of the ultimate fate of black holes, inspiring generations. Janna Levin, with a voice that narrates the cosmos as if reading an epic poem, bridges the gap between complex physics and popular wonder. They remind us that science is not sterile. It is driven by an insatiable, almost feverish curiosity, an emotional yearning to know. And within the heart of spacetime, these gravitational sentinels perhaps whisper the most profound secrets about organization and experience, waiting for the subtle instruments of our intellect to finally decode their language. Ultimately, This journey toward the event horizon fosters a renewed sense of belonging. Black holes are not simply cosmic destroyers, they are potent symbols of transformation, the ultimate nexus where pure chaos might resolve into a new form of order, where the necessary preconditions for complexity, perhaps even awareness, are forged. We must continue to look up on clear, cold nights, feel the vastness pressing in, and allow the imagination, fueled by data, to stretch beyond the confines of our immediate world. The cosmos is beckoning, and who is to say that the very nature of our inquiring consciousness is not the ultimate key required to unlock the deepest secrets held captive within the infinite density of a singularity? The information about how to transition from inert mass to subjective awareness might not be lost, but simply relocated, preserved at the boundaries of the gravest structures in existence, awaiting the next epoch of discovery to reveal its presence. The quest continues, fueled by the lingering possibility that the darkness above holds the brightest answers to the nature of being itself.